Sepupus, today is July the 10th, 2025, and it has been 100 years ever since Mahathir Mohamad has been on the planet. Now, I don't know how many of you have even thought about how long of a time that is. I don't know if some of you out there are 1 year old and casually watching this video while you're being rocked to sleep in your mama's arms. But 100 years is crazy. It is 36,525 days, 876,600 hours. This man has been around literally since before World War II, up through the Japanese occupation, communist threat, independence, decade after decade of literally existing on this planet. And somehow, here he is, third oldest living state leader on the entire planet. Wow. Happy birthday, Tun Mahathir. It is insane what you managed to do. I don't know if a lot of people actually know exactly what this man has done, and that's kind of expected since it was literally 100 years. Not so easy to just go ahead and go through, but you can go right ahead and have a look at this little project that I did on Prompters Malaya, and you'll see a little bit of how that journey played out. But the most important thing is he was our Prime Minister for 22 years after marrying his university sweetheart, serving for 22 years before he resigned. Then eventually, as life went on, Badawi came along, and Najib later on, he became Prime Minister again, oldest in the entire world, if I might add. And then 2 years later, Sheraton move, collapse, election, lost deposit, and a whole bunch of miscellaneous things which are interesting, but yes, make people sometimes scratch their heads a bit. I mean, yeah, like recently a lot of people have been questioning Tun N for lots of different things, whether it's like the Batu Putih thing, trying to relaunch his political career, collaborating with past, which he said in this very book that he doesn't even like, and a whole range of statements that I think people have been just questioning him for. And here we are today with the whole Malay umbrella, Anak Melayu Muda. Oh yeah, and let's not forget the whole
today the Jews rule this world by proxy. They get others to fight and die for them,
which somehow or another he ended up putting in his 100-year live stream this morning as he was doing a podcast, which I thought was pretty interesting, although in a way it is classic Tun N. I mean, he is a controversial man for sure, what with his Malay dilemma, which by the way was passed down from my late father, and that I got a full-on signed copy of from him when I had a chance to interview him last year, pick his brain, talk about AI, technology, English, medicine, knives, which was interesting, in his office in Putrajaya. Ladies and gentlemen, on Pathways, Tun Dr Mahathir Mohamad. Tun, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Alright. And probably stands as the most important political book in the entire country, even if it ended up destroying the self-confidence of an entire generation of Malay kids, and also what he ended up doing to Anwar Ibrahim, who recently wished him happy birthday, which I guess is a pretty big-hearted thing to do, especially when you are wishing somebody who put you in prison for donkey years, even though now, with the Yusuf Rother thing, it seems a little harder than it used to be to say that all of that was politically motivated. And now, of course, we have the Doctor in the House memoir and all of those things that he said along the way, not only from him, but also from writers like Hu Bu-Tek, from his own daughter who I met in the bookshop one time. Literally dozens of books culminating in Conversation with Tun Mahathir, and of course this, his most immediate memoir, which has this poem in it, which he recited as recently as a couple of months ago in his time capsule thing. But there's one thing I definitely respect the man for, and that is literally just going out and speaking his mind and taking action whenever he feels that there's something wrong. Even now, he's leading that whole judicial independence charge, which you could very well say is menunggang issue or anything else out there, but I think it's very Tun M. Like, the guy has no filter. Like, if he doesn't like you, he might say it in a very subtle way.
It is not a national issue. It's a family issue. So I don't want to comment on that.
But I think that a lot of people would probably like just give up on even doing that. And if I think about it, probably even give up walking by this point. In lieu of just going about life watching TV, doom scrolling and behaving like a vegetable. But no, he still goes out, he does forums, he does events and everything like that. And it's actually shocking to think about what is going on right there. I mean, even right now, you've got people like Melissa Ong from CNA asking him,
now many people want to know the secret, to your longevity. How did you do it? Can you share your secret?
Well, I didn't do it, it happened.
Which, if you think about it, is kind of cool, but opens up speculations about whether, I don't know, like he bathes in the milk of virgin cows, injects the stem cells of sheep into his body, eats 10,000-year ginseng in an effort to maintain his life before preparing to upload his mind into the consciousness of the universe. I don't know. But whatever it is fascinating to see. And you know, I wonder what it's like to actually be that age. He says it's terrifying, but I can imagine that it's just very difficult to even understand what is going on there in the very first place. But yeah, here's a fun segment that he went right ahead and shared on his Instagram as a collab post with me sometime after our interview last year, so yeah, let's watch it. Tun, currently you are 99 years old. At the start of this conversation, when I entered the room, you spoke about how it can seem scary to think about, well, the remainder of time. Yet, Tun, you surprise us time and time again with riding at 150 kilometers per hour and like going at a rate that a lot of people would never imagine you to be able to do at like 99 years old. But Tun, my question, if you were given a chance to live forever, would you take that opportunity? Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna answer right now.
I know that my time is limited. In fact, when I was 70 years old, 70 plus years old, I gave myself a life of up to 75. So yeah, at that time.
Wow.
So I decided that the time has come for me to resign. Because I thought that I cannot be a prime minister at the age of 80, you know. So I decided to resign at that time.
Yeah, and then you decided to become a prime minister at the age of 92. Nice.
So I thought that I would never survive for so long. But after I resigned, I find that I could still function. I could still be active and also take an interest in what is happening in the country.
Yeah. And there it is. You can go right ahead and watch it by clicking the card right up above. Whatever you think of him, here we are 25 years after he thought he would die. Bonus years, I think some of you might say. And he is a literal century old. That's an age that the vast majority of us will never live until. And there he is, still doing meet and greet sessions with Tun Siti Hasmah, living his best life, going to Japan, speaking at forums, doing things that people 20 years younger should be ashamed that they are not doing, even at this moment. And all I can say is, congratulations, Tun. I think that you've seen things that the vast majority of people would never have seen on this planet, and probably never will as well. I think it is a miracle that you managed to reach this point of our civilization and era. I know that you still have a lot of things that you care about, and a lot of things that probably a lot of people will disagree with you with, myself included. But if the opportunity arises, I look forward to renewing our conversation and talking about what the future holds, to think about what you left behind, all these memories of that era, of leadership, good and bad. Sepupus, we've had 100 years of Mahathir Mohamad. So, what is his legacy?
It is up to other people to decide what is my legacy. As far as I'm concerned, I was carrying out my work.
What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And that's all I have to say about that, and bye.